What's up guys, it's New York Fire Alarm Tech here. In this video, I'm going to be comparing 13 different variants of system sensor fire alarm horn strobes from the 1990s to the 2020s. To start off to the left here, that right there is not a system sensor mass ADA, that is an MAEH ADA horn strobe. And I got that one a while back, brand new in the box. I think a year or two ago. That one right there is a system sensor PS2415 ADA single gang ADA horn strobe from '96. That right there is a first gen system sensor SpectrAlert horn strobe. That right there is a first gen system sensor SpectrAlert strobe. That right there is a third gen SpectrAlert horn strobe. That one is a P1224MC multi-candela SpectrAlert. And this one here is a SpectrAlert chime strobe. I think it's a CH241575. That right there is a SpectrAlert Advances CHSR chime strobe. That right there is a SpectrAlert Advanced strobe, an SR. That right there is a SpectrAlert Advanced P2R non-weatherproof horn strobe on a weatherproof back box. That right there is a little bit different from this one. That one is a SpectrAlert Advanced P2RH-LF low frequency sounder strobe with the high candela selectables. And now we're going up to the L series. This right here is an older first gen L series, the Xeon version. And this one's an older version from the late 2010s, from like 2017 I think this one was made. It's got the gray back plate on it, the gray mounting plate. And this one is the P2R LED horn strobe, the second gen L series, aka the LED L series. And that right there is a system sensor P2GRK LED horn strobe, the newest horn strobe model of the system sensor, which came out in late 2024. Let's get to the overview of each device and comparing and contrasting the differences between these 13 devices. To start it off, this is my system sensor MAEH ADA compliant horn strobe. And here's the back of it. That one's an MAEH 24110 ADA. And here's where you wire the device up. Right here. You see you got your negative in and out, your negative in and out. And right there is your positive in and out. This horn strobe does, I think, 7 or 8 different tones. Alright. That was the overview of the MAEH. Let's get to the next horn strobe. The next device here is my system sensor PS2415 ADA single gang ADA compliant horn strobe with the strobe on the top. These were not made for very, very long. This was the generation of the system sensor horn strobes before the original SpectrAlert. That came out before these. That generation came out in 1997. Here's the back of it. And these wire a little bit differently. These are 2-wire horn strobes. You have your positives go into here, and your negatives go into this terminal. This horn strobe, unlike the MAEH or the MAEH series, only does not do multiple tones. This is only a one-tone horn strobe. It has like a 3000 hertz tone. Let's get on to the SpectrAlert series. Here's the 4 different devices of the SpectrAlert series, commonly referred to by firearm enthusiasts as the System Sensor SpectrAlert Classic, because of the SpectrAlert Advances series. These horn strobes were made between 1997 and 2006. And they came in different generations. This one right here is a first generation. These were made from 1997 to 2000. These come with the screw-on bases, where you screw the horn strobe part into the top of the base. And this one is a strobe only version. This one's a 15 candela SpectrAlert. And this one's a P24 1575 SpectrAlert Classic horn strobe. This is the back of it. These and the 2nd gen clip-on versions of this, they come with these jumpers, so you can mount it 4-wire. And this one is a 3rd generation SpectrAlert. This one was made from 2003 to 2006. This one has different types of jumpers. These, and they're multi-candela, they had a candela switch selector right here. And they have a switch on the inside to set the tones instead of like clips. And these are a clip-on horn strobe. And this one right here is a little bit different. This one is a CH24 1575 2nd gen SpectrAlert chime strobe. This one does multiple tones too, just like the MAEH and the MAEH series. And this one is a 4-wire device, where it has 2 wires going to the horn, a positive and negative, and 2 wires to the strobe. That was an overview of the SpectrAlert series devices. Let's get to the SpectrAlert Advances. Now we are on to the SpectrAlert Advanced series. Right here is a standard common system sensor SpectrAlert Advanced P2R on a weatherproof back box. This one right here is a System Sensor SR. That one is a little bit different. That one is a CHSR chime strobe. That's also a multi-tone. And that one right there is a low frequency sounder strobe. And those things are loud. We got the, this one's a CHSR. Here's the back of it. These all mount on the same plates, except for the low frequency sounder strobe. These are all 2-wire devices. They also come in 4-wire variants, the P4R and a P4RK. Those have 5 terminals. This one has 3, got 2 positives and a negative, I believe. Let's get to the L series. Here are the 3 System Sensor L series wall mount devices that I currently own. This one right here is the P2RL. And these things mount very similar to the SpectrAlert Advance, but they are a lot different. They have the candela selection stick, the thing on the bottom. and a Xeon strobe. And these mount on a regular back plate, very similar to the SpectrAlert Advance. I'll show you in a second. The way these mount are very similar. They can mount on a single gang, a 1900, or a double gang box. And now we get to the LED L series. This one's different from the Xeon L series. These came out in 2020, the end of 2023. These things can be tested for voltage on the outside of the device, right there. You can put a meter to the positive and the negative to test for voltage without having to take the device down, which is a big improvement in the System Sensor series. Similar to the Wheelock Exceeder, from my understanding. And the Candela selector is in a different spot than the Xeon L series, like you can see here. It's on the bottom of the strobe there, and that one is to the bottom left of the strobe. These things are built differently in terms of the LED and Xeon. And they also mount very similar, but the L series, the older L series, has different selectable candela thing, whereas on this one you could select the candela on these wheels, and that's to set your tones. And this one's got a black back plate, as do these newer 2020s Xeon L series. And this one right here is a weatherproof System Sensor L series. These very recently came out. The very end of last year. The middle to very end of last year. This one is a P2GRK LED horn strobe. This one is set at 15 candela and is on a weatherproof back box. These are mounted differently. Like, they have pigtails on the back of the mounting plate instead of screw terminals, which the screw terminals are on the front inside this. I'll show you what I mean in a second. Here's the inside of the System Sensor LED L series and SpectrAlert Advance. You see these three wires? There are two positives and a negative. Those go outside of here to the back of the mounting plate, and those get pigtail wire nutted to wherever your feed and returns of the NAC circuit are going to. Whereas on the SpectrAlert Advance weatherproof back box, you could just wire the device into without having to take the back plate off, or take the wires off for troubleshooting without having to take the back plate off. And here's the back of the SpectrAlert Advance compared to the L series, LED L series, P2GRK LED. That's your audio select on this, and that's your candela. That's your candela select, and that's your audio with these wheels. And these do bunch of different tones too than the SpectrAlert Advance. It does temporal 3 and temporal 4. It does continuous and 3K hertz. So another thing, the difference between the L series and the SpectrAlert Advance is that the SpectrAlert Advance only does electromechanical, and the L series does electromechanical and 3000 hertz. Just like the older SpectrAlert series, those do 3,000 hertz in electromechanical, but the sound of those is far different. The sound of these is different than the SpectrAlert Advance and the L series. The SpectrAlert Advance and all the variants of the L series sound almost exactly the same, except this one's the Advanced series starts in continuous for like a split second when power is applied, whereas the L series devices start in temporal code 3. And here's the back of the SpectrAlert Advanced back box versus the back of an LEDL series back box. The LEDL series back box is a little bit smaller and thinner. And here's the LEDL series and the SpectrAlert Advance side by side. These were made for just about 19 years before, 18 years actually, before they discontinued the P2RK. The P2RK was in production for 18 years, from 2006 to 2024. And they were replaced by the successor, the LEDL series. Most of these horn strobes of all these series, all the SpectrAlert Advances run on 12 and 24 volt DCs. So does the L series. They run on 12 and 24 volt DC. The first and second gen SpectrAlerts, as well as the Mass series horn strobes, they run off of 12 volt variants and 24 volt variants. The SpectrAlert and the SpectrAlert Advance horn strobes also come in 120 volt AC variants, but they sound just like the 24 volt DC. So I'll be comparing the differences of all the generations of each horn strobe. Let's get to that. Here we got all the devices out with their back plates and stuff. These two devices and that chime strobe right there, they don't have back plates to mount onto, so those get mounted without any extra hardware. The first gen SpectrAlerts, those mount on a screw-on backplate. The second gen SpectrAlert right there, that mounts, second and third gen, those mount on a screw-on, a clip-on, those mount on a clip-on backplate. And I'll show you the differences between the backs of them. That is a clip-on backplate, and that's the back of a screw-on. This backplate is how all the SpectrAlert Advanced devices are mounted. You just take that, put the horn strobe top in first, and put the bottom in last, and screw that straight in. Same with this one, but that one has same as the low frequency sounder strobe, but it's a slightly taller and different shaped one, but it still mounts on the same boxes as the Advance and the L series indoor devices. But the L series ones mounting plates look slightly different. They're a little more rounded on the edges, but overall they're very, very identical in wiring diagram wise to the SpectrAlert Advance. We got the LEDL series outdoor mounting plate. Those get mounted with 2 screws, which is something I forgot to explain compared to the other L series devices. Those mount with 2 screws on the bottom, and so do the SpectrAlert Advance indoor and outdoor devices. The outdoor L series mounts with two with two screws on the top and the bottom, and the back has to get pigtail wired instead of wired by the screw terminals. Those have pigtails on the back of the back plate, so you need wire nuts to wire them to the in and outs of the NAC circuit. Yeah, so that right there is early 1990s, and they also made older frosted strobe versions of those from the late 80s and early 90s, and including the MAS 12/20, the MAS 12LO, the MAS 24LO, and the bigger firing MAS, which I do not have one currently in my collection. And then it came into 96 with this, and then 1997 with the screw-on SpectrAlerts, and then the 2000 with the clip-on SpectrAlerts, which the first and second gen of these horse strobes only came in certain individual candela versions. Like they had 15 candela, 15, 75, 75, 110, etc. on the first and second gen. Whereas the third gen, which came out in 2003, has a different reflector on the lens, and it has a multi-candela selector, which is the only generation of the the original SpectrAlert series to have them. And then in 2006 comes the SpectrAlert Advances series. Those come in many different variants too, but other than all, the DC variants are all very, very similar in style and stuff. And now we got the first gen L series right there, the Xeon device. And we got the second gen L series, the LED version. And we got the LED L series outdoor horn strobe. So that's all I have for you. And I forgot to mention, the SpectrAlert Advance came out in 2006. The L series, the original L series, came out in 2017. April 2017 around. That came out in 2023. End of 2023. This was introduced in late mid 2024. I hope you guys enjoyed this overview. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and give a subscription. Go follow my Instagram at New York Fire Alarm Tech. And have a nice day, and I'll see you guys soon.